He had a great run last week, and then he never even.
Oh, okay.
Somebody's going to come out. I'm a roast or something. Yeah, I might make up a lot.
Danny, you start the clock? Oh, you play 4
Attention players, the tournament has resumed.
I was gonna say you're done. Dinner first. Dude. Did you ever do punching bags? Or look at it and break it.
That's my job.
So you get like a $200 wall. But then, you know, because with snake, sometimes you get snake. Like with an auction, you get to pick whoever you want. And then you gotta kind of plan out your money. Yeah, it's like not too bad. Yeah, you usually get like $200. So like Kelsey goes for like usually late you get quite a few guys out there for bargains. It's a lot more fun. Like every all my leagues have converted. Just because you actually get to everyone, you get a bit more.
Hello and welcome, Dakota Poker Tour fans and players. You are currently tuning in to Dakota Poker Tour's Tournament of Champions free roll event. This event is all of our past champions from Season X invited to come play for free roll tournament, win some extra money. So we'll go ahead and introduce some of our players around the table. All of them should be fairly familiar faces. In seat 1, we have Ben Armbrust out of Fargo. Seat 2, Todd Harfield out of Fargo. Patrick Wingard was winner of the Crossroads Tavern event out in Bismarck a few short months ago. He comes all the way from Mandan. Thanks for making the trip, Patrick. We lost our seat 4, James Wilson out of Wahpeton, but in seat 5, Jared Strode of Fargo, he took down the Valley City Eagle Eye tournament. In seat 8, Brandon Dosh out of Fargo. We're all familiar with Brandon very much so. Seat 7, Jared Quast, who was on our feature table last night. Seat 8, Eric DeWitt, and seat 9, Jeff Gabb. I believe he was our winner out at Fatfish Brewery. So welcome to all these players. Certainly going to be an exciting final table here. We did have 2 tables to go, and as we see here, Patrick and Jared are in an all-in moment. Luckily, I think we just are going to split the pot there so everyone gets their money back. Essentially, blind levels right now are 4K and 8K. No big blind ante.
Yeah, rabbit hunted for you.
So congratulations to all of these players who at one point have taken down a Dakota Poker Tour tournament in Season X. This will be the final tournament of Season X, kind of rounding it all off, and then coming up later today, in fact, very soon we'll be starting up, actually about an hour, we'll be starting up kicking off Season XI, Season 11, coming at you starting here today. We are at Hagge's Bar in Mapleton, North Dakota. My name is Brian, be your commentator for the day and the rest of the evening. It's been an exciting weekend of poker. A lot of amazing players have come through. Thank you everyone for making these events as successful as they are. Last night we gave away $5,000, or rather James Wilson was invited to come back here today as he took down our championship event last night. Won $5,010. Saw James in here a little bit ago, but obviously he knocked out of this tournament, the TOC tournament, earlier. So quick turnaround for him, maybe still coming off the high of winning poker event. Winning $5,000 in cash.
Oh, I'm sorry, Friday. You did nice. Congrats.
That's never a bad day.
Was it like finals or was it
You know, last night he asked what time this TOC event started, and said around, it was around 11, 10 or 11 is when they'd be starting, and was basically asking, you know, what's the latest I can come in, because I got kids at home. So obviously he's on some dad duties, but hey, $5,000 towards the family, that is a vacation, maybe, who knows, a little treat for the kiddos and the wife. But congratulations again to James Wilson for winning the final event of the DPT Season X.
And you kind of spend your own life at that point. Like, I'd still go to play it. Usually it goes months, but I don't know what the new schedule is.
It's like all October.
No, it's like 2 months usually in the summer.
It's like the last couple of days in September, all of October.
They play, yeah.
I thought it was like the first week in November. I thought like I would
The
be.
main event is,
It's like end of May to beginning of.
If you are wanting to play poker, and we are all well aware we have kicked off the NFL football season, we do have the games on, multiple TVs in the bar here, so if you are wanting to play today but didn't want to miss football, no worries. Football is playing all day long here at Hagge's Bar and Grill in Mapleton, so feel free to come on down, play some poker, and hey, it's only week 3, so you can't really miss that much, even if you aren't sitting down watching the game start to finish with undivided attention. Still come on out, drink some beer, whatever tickles your fancy this hour of the afternoon. But here we have Ben Armbrust waking up with Pocket Kings. Eric DeWitt calling and hitting a top pair on the flop here, so Ben certainly is going to be We'll see. Probably going to be pretty aggressive now that Eric bet 50K. Yeah, Ben's all in for 235,000. It's a pretty big decision here for Eric, who does have him covered. It's a good opportunity here to potentially kick someone out. But yeah, Eric, knowing his queen is not very good here, so he's going to fold that, and Ben will rake in sizable pot. You see Ben with a couple of threes. Not a very strong starting hand, but definitely better than a lot of them. So it's probably definitely in the top 50 percentile of hands, good starting hands. So he'll start off with a raise to 23,000.
Or actually he doesn't stay there. When there's breaks, he goes into his RV.
You gotta think. So you gotta think that. Amazing.
Well, some people just go down there and play the cash game because it's so much more action. Yeah. I mean, I've never been out there someday. Yeah, I just go walk around.
Can't really say anyone is really a favorite in this game, as every single player on this table has proven to be a very worthy opponent and a force on the felts, as obviously they're all past champions of the Dakota Poker Tour Season X.
Well, it's like back in the old World Series days, there was that couple.
That's one thing I will say. I had the pleasure of playing in a satellite tournament on Friday night, and had Patrick Wingard, Jared Strode, and I think Josh Dahlstrom also all on a table. I didn't realize who I was signing up with, but very quickly realized I was at a table of Dakota Poker Tour legends and really good poker players. It was probably I haven't played poker in a long time, but it was definitely one of the funnest tables I've ever been a part of. Just the other characters on the table, we were all very chatty and joking, and Patrick's had the pleasure of just hanging out with him and playing against him in poker. Ended up winning that satellite, which was pretty surprising. But really cool, unique experience to be able to play against some of these incredible poker players. Over the last couple hands, just kind of had a lull in the cards. Not really seeing any strong hands. But here we see Jeff calling the 8,000 on the button. Ben in the small blind calls at a discount. Todd with the option just checks. We'll see a flop jack 7-4. Obviously Jeff catching the best part of that flop, and he'll be firing away for 18,000. Ben with his 5-3 offsuit, definitely not going to be calling that. Todd, gut shot, straight draw, and an open ender, open and gut shot. He might be calling this just to see what's going to happen. What call? 18,000. He's got a pretty sizable chip stack, so here we are catching the 10 on the turn. Another diamond. See what Jeff does here. Oh, Jeff checks. Todd checks. Interesting play, and there's the fifth or the fourth diamond before the flush draw gets there. Maybe luckily for Todd that wasn't an 8. But Todd's gonna stab at it. That's about 40,000. Jeff's gonna call. Todd will expose his 10-9, and Jeff's gonna show his flush. And that was a great hand by Jeff. Well played. Kind of slow playing it on the turn, checking it, kind of knowing he most likely had the best hand.
Just gonna bend them up.
Yeah. I'm just gonna fold over. Just look at the corner. Yeah. So is there just a small chip, or is it like a straight?
Alright, so here we have Todd raising to 16,000, Patrick calling. Onto the flop, deuce 6-9. Not a very strong flop. We're gonna check, see the 7 turn. Check, see 7 of hearts on the river. Looks like we check, and we're gonna flip over. High card wins. That is Todd with the ace. Brandon looking down at ace-7 offsuit. Jared a fold. Over to Jeff a fold. Ben folds. Todd folds. Patrick. Patrick will call this on the small blind. See a discounted flop, and our flop does come. Deuce 3 jack. Patrick and Jared both check as they don't really catch any piece of that flop. Turn is essentially a blank as well. So we'll see Jared. Patrick checked, and then Jared's going to take a stab at it for 11,000. folding is Jack 10. Ben folding Queen 7. Todd looking down at 8-3, gonna fold that. Patrick 10-6, gonna fold that. Jared in the small blind is going to call, and Brandon with the option. He's gonna shove all in with an immediate fold from Jared, as we know, pretty bad hands. So again, I think we're just kind of waiting on the cards to wake up a bit. There's just an inevitable lull here with the cards, not a whole lot going on. It's just the way she goes. Not every hand can be fireworks. And that's kind of the blessing and the curse of poker, is there can be a lot of downtime, and that's where your mental game as a player comes in as an important factor. If you can, persevere through the lulls where perhaps you lose focus, or you're not paying attention to the other players at the table, picking up on cues and what their tells are, maybe you just lose focus, and then you're going to end up being knocked out of the tournament. So I guess definitely one notable person that I've noticed who is very consistent in his gameplay is Jared Strode. I remember talking with him after he won the Eagle Eye tournament in Valley City, that no matter what decision he made, he would go through the same routine, take the same amount of time. And here we see Brandon Dosh going all in. Jared will fold, and Brandon picking up the big blind there. But yeah, that was all a part of Jared's game. Was, man, no matter what, if you're about a no-brainer fold or a no-brainer raise or all in or whatever the situation was, same amount of time, hardly deviated from the, for the body language. And that right there was the separator as to why he took down the Eagle Eye tournament. And while we're on the topic of consistency, obviously Brandon Dosh, an incredible poker player, very consistent. Second place by 20 points in our Player of the Year points race, only behind Cody Slusher out of Oaks. Cody, another very consistent poker player. Can almost, you see him walk into a poker room, and Brandon, and in a matter of hours, you're most likely going to see them on the final table. Here, Ben looking down at pocket fours. We'll have a 10-minute break very shortly here. I think after this hand, Eric can't see his whole cards, but enough of it's a little bit of a pause. Looks like we'll have one more hand, then we'll take a 10-minute break.
Time for a 10-minute break. Please stop play at the end of the current hand.
We'll take this opportunity to thank Hagge's Bar and Grill for being gracious hosts. We've had excellent service all weekend long thus far. Players, getting their food and drinks and making sure everyone's taken care of. So hats off to the Hagge's crew, making sure that poker event, at least on their side, is very smooth. No qualms from the players. Great food, great drinks, and great atmosphere too. Last night was quite the party aside from the poker. But here we have 3 players in on this hand. Flop comes 7, 4, 9. Eric flopping an open ender. Jeff, Jack 3, not so much going on there. Todd catching top pair. Strong kicker. As you see here, Eric, unbeknownst to him, has 2 outs to win this hand. But he doesn't know that. So in my mind, if I'm Eric, I've got 6 outs. Or at least 6 cards that can give me the straight. And Todd's going to go all in. Top pair, strong kicker. And the pressure now is on Eric. Eric's just going to fold, yeah. Totally fine. No need to get squirrely just before a break. So we are also going to take a 10-minute break. We are going to continue on here with our Tournament of Champions free roll event. Thank you for tuning in. Stick around. We'll be back right after this break. And the players have all agreed to forego the break. So we're just going to keep on rolling here. Everyone at the table agreed. No break. They're not tired. They're ready to continue playing. Perhaps they want to be able to play this out quicker so they can take a break of their own once this tournament is over to enter in our Season XI kickoff starting here later today. Patrick's going all in. See if there's any hands that could potentially that can contend with his big slick, and nothing there. So Patrick will pick up the blinds. No big blind ante. Just doing blinds. And if you live in the Fargo-Moorhead area and you're not sure what to do today and you don't really want to watch poker in the comforts of your own home, you can come on down to Hagge's Bar and Grill, Mapleton, North Dakota, 15-minute drive west. If you're in Castleton, 10-minute drive east. We're going to see Brandon Dosh going all in. We're going to fold around. Fold, fold, fold. Todd, not quite a good enough hand to contest that all in. So Brandon taking down the blinds and antes. We're going to go ahead and see update on the chip counts. See Todd Harfield up there in first place with 310,000. So that's probably why we're seeing Brandon Dosh going all in. So just being the short stack at the table, it's going to be about that time to start going all in. He's still at 9 big blinds. We're not moving too quick. So he doesn't have a little bit of time. But I'd rather be doubling up with obviously more chips than less. So as soon as you find that good hand and you're short stacked at the table, you might as well shove instead of trying to get it into an hand. Just go to showdown right away and let the kind of quick and painless if you go all in with a caller. But here we see Jared raising to 32,000. Brandon folds. Jared, same hand. He's going to go all in for about 137,000. Jared, the other shorter stack at the table. Going to fold around, see what Todd has. Probably nothing of value there. Patrick, nothing of value there. So Jared and Jared, Gerard and Jared. Gerard asking for a chip count, seeing how much more it would be, and it would leave him not much. See what Gerard Strode decides, and he will call. And as we know, we'll flip him up, and it's a coin flip, as we both have the same hand. We're going to not want to see, if we're Jared Strode, we don't want to see a bunch of hearts. There's Jack 4-9. Probably won't make a flush here. It's mathematically impossible. Here's a 2. We're most likely looking at a chop pot and a king of clubs on the river, or spades, which means everyone gets their money back. All is well in the world again. We are good to go.
So lesson of the story is go all in ace queen suited. Never let him pair. I was thinking you were having ace queen or pair.
As we get into this next hand, go ahead and, we got Patrick going all in. His Jack 4 suited, and Patrick being the one of the short stacks. Either says, screw it, we're doing it. Good enough, sick of waiting. Jared looking down at 2 3s. Not a super strong hand to call an all in, but if he knows his opponent's back is up against the wall, oftentimes you see just a high card and all in. So Jared could have known he was ahead, but almost certainly Patrick was going to have 2 overs. So we see a flop, turn, or river, and a jack or a 4 come out, and Jared's already crushed. Basically would need a 3 and 3 only to survive an assault by Patrick Wingard. Now that we're in between hands, though, we'll go ahead and thank some other sponsors. I apologize to our sponsors yesterday for not mentioning them. Go ahead and thank Randy's Diner for their continued support of the Dakota Poker Tour with the Windbreak bar down in South Fargo. Heavenly Hog Barbecue, Bar 9, thank you guys very much. K-Fan radio station, thank you. The Tax Lady, It's not time to do your taxes yet, but certainly good to stay on top of them. On top of those taxes, that is. So when it is time for those taxes, go ahead, hit up the tax lady. Take care of you. Posh Hair Studio and Spa, thank you very much for your sponsorship. And the Knickerbocker Liquor Locker, the best sounding bars just to roll off the tongue. And to round it all off, Mindak Gold Exchange. Thank you all to our sponsors. Here we have Jared Strode going all in. Brandon Dosh, chance to call here. Certainly will not like, if he does call, what's happening. Tough decision for Brandon here. Does he want to risk his tournament life all in one hand here? Or live to fight another day, being the extreme short stack? You see an ace in your hand and it's almost, it's like, yep, time to go in. Yeah, Brandon does call. No, he folds. Yeah, excellent fold by Brandon. Sensing Jared is just a little too strong. Another thank you goes out to the West Fargo Rural Fire Department, our sponsoring charity here today. A cut of all the buy-ins that have come through this weekend does go to the West Fargo Rural Fire Department. Helps them achieve all the things that they do, whether it's a community fire extinguisher giveaway or getting new supplies for the fire department. All goes to a great cause and a great charity. And Eric going all in. Gonna fold around. Yep, not much happening there. Ben's going to raise it up to 25,000 over to Jared. Looking down at King Queen. Jared's going to 3-bet to 85,000. Likely fold around to Ben. Yeah, Ben's just going to retreat to his corner, lick his wounds. Except that his hand is not strong enough to back his raise to 25,000. Nice strong play from Jared. Todd raising to 35,000. Again, we're just not catching good hands by more than one player. So we're just experiencing another one of those inevitable lulls in poker. And Todd will be first to act. We know it before him, looking down at Big Slick Suited. I thought he was going to push his cards in the center for a second, but he's all in. Patrick Wingard folding, Jared folding, Brandon, no chance he's going with that. Jared folding, fold, fold, fold. Maybe too strong of a play from Todd. Certainly could have tried to see a flop. It doesn't hurt when you have a bunch of chips sitting in front of you. Opportunity maybe to allow someone to limp in, catch a monster on the flop, and then potential to take someone out. So being the big stack, I wouldn't necessarily agree with going all in there, but maybe sensing a little bit of angst on the table, wanting to perhaps move the game along. It's been a little stagnant lately, so. But that's just it's just how poker is. You have ups and downs, and oftentimes the downtime and lack of action is much longer than all the action. Jared raising 32,000. Jeff King Queen offsuit going to call. Over to Ben with Ace 9 suited. He's also going to call. Todd going to push in his 8-6. And will be 3 players in on the flop. Flop comes Ace, Jack 3, 2 clubs. Great flop for Ben and Jared. 6 spades. We're just going to check it around. Yeah, Jared will take a stab at it. Betting 30,000 over to Jeff. Jeff folds. Ben shoving all in. Jared to call. Oh, he's gonna fold. Oh my. Don't show it, Ben. Yeah. Yeah, chunking Jared a little bit there. I don't know. Jared doesn't have much left in chips. You see just 66,000. I don't know what more you would want in terms of risking your tournament life. Obviously, we know Ben had the flush draw, but maybe sensing Ben having an ace-jack, putting him on that, obviously it would have him crushed. So, nonetheless, as I said yesterday, as long as you have chips in front of you, you are alive and you can potentially win this game. And we did see that from James Wilson last night, who was very but continued to have chips in front of him, and then went on to win the conclusion of Season X. Patrick with the option will check. Flop comes ace 4-8. Not a terribly lively board, but there is the ace out there that someone could potentially try to rep that they have in her hands, and Ben's going to be first aggressor. He'll get 1 and 2 people out. So a nice little bluff there from Ben. You'll see Patrick looking down at ace deuce suited. He's going to shove all in. Action on Jared. Yeah, just kind of frustrated. He doesn't have anything that he could even call Patrick with.
Wait long enough, you'll be able to call.
You can pick up the blinds once more of it. I mean, you're not dying yet.
Hanging it around, hanging it around. I must be getting the accent down.
One of the movies like Lord of the Rings.
Everybody at this table knows exactly what they
And looks like we're just going to see a bunch of garbage hands to be mucked. Well, Todd's going to take a stab at it, calling the 12,000, maybe getting a little bored of having garbage cards. Thought maybe, you know, knowing the fact that any 2 cards can win. Sometimes even when I play, I like to come in and just call the big blind, essentially limp in with a couple of really bad cards or at least one good one. See if I can catch something on the flop that they wouldn't expect me to be playing with. And I've seen it plenty of times watching other live poker. But here we'll see our flop of 8-3 queen. No one getting a piece of that other than Todd, maybe with 2 clubs. Just want to avoid runner club, so Jared picks up the nut flush. Yep, first aggressor, generally the one who's going to take it down. And it does look like our next tournament of the day, our final tournament of the weekend, is about to be underway. It is going to be the kickoff of Dakota Poker Tour's Season XI. Still plenty of time to get down here to Hagge's Bar and Grill and buy in. I believe it's a $150 buy-in with the add-on option for up to $25K in chips. Once again, football is on the TVs here, so there is no excuse. Get your butts down here, play some live poker. Hagge's Bar and Grill. Ben here raising it up to $35,000 over to Jared. Again, as this final table continues, just paying attention to Jared and his body language, how he stays fairly consistent in minimizing any unnecessary movements when it is his turn. Jared with the option will check, and our flop comes King 5 Jack. No piece of the flop for anyone. We're going to check around. Turn comes a 2. Jared checks. Ben checks. Jared checks. River is going to be a 6. We're going to check around. We're going to flip him up, and we're going to discover that Ben has the best hand with his pocket 9s. So being that there was 2 overs there, Jared perhaps kicking himself in the pants, knowing he had the strongest hand and just a strong pre-flop hand that potentially with the right amount, sizable bet could have taken Ben off of his pocket 9s. No worries, though. Everyone is still in. Nothing too crazy happened there. You could think, oh, that could have been played better, but really no harm, no foul on that last hand. Todd looking down at ace-10 offsuits, going to call the 12,000. Patrick folds, Jared folds, Brandon folds. Jared calling over to Eric, who will use his option to check, and we'll see a flop. Flop comes 4-8-9. Jared flopping top pair is going to go all in. I think that's a very respectable and almost predictable play, knowing it's extreme short stack. Todd, knowing he's got a ton of chips in front of him, is most likely going to call this just because he's got an ace and a 10, knowing he's got 2 overs compared to what's on the board. Jared does have the flush draw too, so that's another weapon in his arsenal to potentially win this hand should an ace or a 10 come out. Yep, Todd's going to call for minimal percentage of his chip stack, and we'll go heads up. Ace 10 versus 9-6. Jared in the lead with his pair of 9s. The turn comes a queen. Needs to avoid an ace, jack, or 10 in the river. Is an ace. Oh, Todd Rivers, Jared. Not much you can do there. That was a great call by Todd. Oh, just hate to see it happen like that on the river. So great tournament for Jared. You're still a champion in my book, Jared.
Well, yeah, but I knew that.
Todd adding to his chip lead. I believe he's chip leader. Nope, just in second place with a cool almost 25% of the chips on the table. So it's Ben and Todd as our chip leaders. Now they might be focusing on Brandon and or Patrick to start isolating them to push them to go all in. Continue to move this tournament along. So great job, Jared. Hope to see you in our next tournament starting, I think it's pretty much right now. He'll probably take a little break, though, and buy in a little bit later should he decide to play our kickoff to Season XI. Ben folds over to Todd. Todd's going to call the 12,000. Patrick folds. Jared in the hijack calls. Brandon all in. In the cutoff, Jeff going all in. Oh my God. Todd with a decision to make here. So Todd facing 2 all-ins. He's going to get out of the way, let Jeff and Brandon duke it out. Same thing with Jared. And we'll flip him up, and Brandon, knowing his tournament life is at stake. Ace-7 versus Jeff's big slick ace-king.
Attention players. The blinds have changed. The small
Whatever
blind is
happens,
8,000,
happens.
and the big blind is 16,000.
Flop comes Jack, deuce, deuce. Jeff's still in the lead. Jared needs a 7 or a Jack for the split. A 4. So a 4, 7, or Jack. Oh, and it comes a queen, and that's going to eliminate Brandon Dosh. So 2 hands, 2 players eliminated. Excellent job to Brandon Dosh. Great tournament, and Jeff Gabb some much-needed chips.
The main timer over to the main tournament. I got your guys' turn on me. So if you have a question on the timer, then let me know. What are we at?
I'm sure this isn't the last time we'll see Brandon.
You're at 6, 12, 8, 16. And I'll leave this for Randy, and you guys right up here. That's your play.
I have one in my book.
Oh, you have one?
Reaching in.
Right.
Hey, get that.
To the left.
It's just on this side. You
Attention players. The blinds have changed. The small blind is 100, and the big blind is 100.
back them up. Get some black chips. Color it down.
All right, Jeff looking down at ace jack offsuit. It's going to call our blinds to go up to 8,000, 16,000. Jeff will raise to 32. Ben folds. Jeff collects chips. Easy peasy. Patrick looking down at ace-5 suited. He's going to most likely shove here, being a short stack. Jared, queen deuce, no dice there. Fold around. Over to Ben. He'll fold. Over to Todd with pocket eights. Another opportunity here for Todd to add to his chip stack. Another one of those kind of coin flip. Does have the advantage, but middle pocket pair, kind of understanding that Patrick has any overs. It's going to be tough to beat. Todd counting him up, seeing, yep, he's gonna go ahead and do it. Call. We're gonna flip our cards up. Patrick's ace 5 versus Todd's pocket eights. All right, and our flop's gonna come 10 deuce deuce. No help to Patrick. Patrick needs an ace, a 5, or a club. Oh, there it is. Patrick's tournament life is still alive, hitting that club. That is pretty much going to do it. Just needs to avoid an 8 or a deuce, and he does. Patrick doubling up off of Todd Harfield, proving why he belongs at this table as a Dakota Poker Tour champion. Obviously, anytime you are a champion, it does involve a certain degree of luck, but that certainly is overshadowed by the amount of skill, determination, and perseverance, I guess, to go ahead and win a whole tournament. Tournaments often last 12 hours or more, so just takes a lot of mental focus to do so. And as we see here from Patrick, a little bit of luck. Fold around to Jeff Gabb. 16K to call. He did. Over to Ben. Folds. Looking over at Todd now. Todd in the small blind calling. Patrick with the option. And our flop comes 2-8-3. Todd first to act, catching top pair. He's going to be aggressive here. Could be a little byproduct of being on tilt, but certainly not out of control. Patrick getting out of the way. Jeff, 2 overs, going to get out of the way. Over to Ben. Ben will get out of the way. And Todd will win. Certainly a little breath of relief for him, knowing he just doubled up Patrick in the previous hand and now has a few more chips coming his way. Much needed. Patrick did knock Todd down a little bit on the chip count, so probably no longer in second place.